Right, so since I was away last week and didn't keep up with what was going on in social media, I asked you guys to leave me suggestions of what you want me to talk about, and by far the most requested topic you guys left in my comment section was an update to the Illuminati situation. Now, I'd love to give you guys a recap on the whole Illuminati situation in case you aren't aware of what's happened, but genuinely, there is far too much for me to get through. I have made a bunch of videos from the start of the situation to how it progressed, so if you aren't aware of what's been happening, then videos are on my channel, but if you have been keeping up with the situation, you will already be aware of Media. Media being a person who's actually kind of spoke out the least compared to other people that were involved in the Sad Milk channel, but for some reason Blair is using every single legal method that she can to try and silence Media. And now to me and a lot of other people, that suggests that Media probably knows a lot about Blair that she does not want out in the public. And like I briefly mentioned, he hasn't really voiced his opinion on Illuminati too much. He's kind of just said that he doesn't agree with the stuff Illuminati has done and has said that a video is coming. Now a video has actually been released by Media, and from what I've been told, I don't believe it's like the official video that he's planning on releasing, but it is a 17-minute video that I assume he's going to go into a lot of details in, and I haven't seen it yet. I like to change the way I do some of these videos. You know, in most of my videos, I will watch the videos previously, and then I will summarize them in my video. But for something like this, where it is just one full video, and it is a video that we've been anticipating for a while, I thought it'd be interesting to maybe get my first reaction, and yeah, let's see what he says.
First and foremost, I need to make everyone aware, for reasons that I hope this update will make clear. For my safety, I need to put a short and temporary pause on production of my video on Illuminati. The video will still, of course, be produced. I just need to put things on a lower burn and return to regular content for the time being, for many reasons. Some of them being the honest truth that I can't afford to continue at this rate, both fiscally and physically. Illuminati has taken this to a legal front, using the courts because of how poorly things went for her on the internet. As a reminder, for those of you unaware, Illuminati started a fight with a lawyer on Twitter, accused him of copying her style, which then led to other content creators and past collaborators speaking out about their past interactions with her.
Yeah, that's honestly the most mind-blowing part of this whole thing, right? This whole situation started because Blair didn't like the fact that someone used a similar edit to her. An edit that really wasn't that unique, that is used by many other people. If you aren't aware, it was like a paper rip effect, and I think there was like a couple other ones that, yet again, weren't unique. And honestly, if her ego wasn't so fragile and she didn't decide to just go at someone for absolutely no reason, none of this information would have came out, especially now at least. And since then, she has just made every poor decision you can possibly make. In fact, the last thing we actually heard about Media and Blair was the fact that Blair was trying to take his home in some way. We still don't really know how she has the power to take his home, but I'm assuming he's gonna tell us, right?
Illuminati is the one who took this off of Twitter and brought it onto YouTube, where she would then post a suicide note of one of her former employees for the world to see as an attempted own.
Yeah, and for some reason she feels like she's justified in suing people and sending out cease and desist and trying to harm people financially, even though she's the first person to bring it over to YouTube. And now she doesn't like the fact that people are talking about on YouTube. Doesn't make sense.
I've put a lot of things in my life on hold to produce this video, ending up with nearly 110 pages of a manuscript which details as much of what I can. And let me tell you something, converting this monstrosity.
Whoa, look at the length of this video. So this is Premiere Pro timeline, and as we can see here, the video is reaching over 3 hours long, and it says this is only half and doesn't show After Effects compositions. Yeah, I think we're starting to see exactly why Blair wants to silence Media. He clearly has a lot of information that she does not want out there.
I want to get everything right, or more of I need to, and I need to ensure that everyone's stories are factual, but to do so, I need to pump the brakes and not rush this out for the sake of being able to not stress about my next meal, or my next bill for that matter. Because of this, I need to, and more importantly, I want to, continue my regular content so I can afford to live day to day.
Yeah, I mean, he has every right to do that, obviously. I get why he has to say it, right? If he just started uploading his normal videos, people would just be continuously asking where the Illuminati video is, so I get why he's mentioning it. But especially when you're going through a potential lawsuit, he has every right to just upload any type of videos he wants that he thinks could help him financially, obviously.
Blair and I dated. We were a couple for a decent chunk of time. This puts me in an ungodly complicated situation of doing everything that I can to try and separate the relationship drama from the public drama, as in the process of dating her, there are a lot of things which I bore witness to.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sure if that was ever, like, publicly mentioned before. Obviously, there was some rumors coming around recently that we mentioned in my previous video that they were a couple at one point. But of course, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I wasn't really aware of who Blair and a lot of the people involved in this situation were before this situation actually happened. So I'm not sure if that was public information, but I mean, yeah, he just confirmed it.
I want to firmly state that this update is being made with the understanding that there is a likelihood that this will end up in a courtroom. I say this because things have been escalating quite a bit behind the scenes, and the stress has certainly been rising. What I can only describe as retaliation from the person who's my ex, former employer, and prior colleague, Blair is in the process of currently foreclosing my home.
How does she feel like she has the right to do that? I don't care if she can legally do it, and for some reason she has the power to do that. Taking someone's home away from them is possibly one of the worst things you could ever do to a human. And this is after all the other horrible stuff she's done to Oz Media and other people involved in this situation, and she doesn't feel like that's enough at this point. She wants to take someone's home away from them. I can't imagine ever being so annoyed or hate someone so much that you would be willing to take away their home. Like, that's genuinely evil.
I won't be homeless come Christmas, because that's when Blair set my home to foreclose, right before Christmas. And yes, Blair has the power to set the foreclosure sale.
Fucking hell. Yeah, I mean, right before Christmas, and you know what, with Blair and other stuff that we've mentioned before, it wouldn't be a surprise if she did that on purpose. It really wouldn't.
Even telling Wonder as far back as April, a day before my thread went up, that I was mortified that if I spoke out against Blair or even dared to cross her, that she would retaliate with taking my home from me. When I did speak out, as many of you are aware, Blair sent me a cease and desist. A cease and desist, by the way, over a Twitter thread which she apologized for not only in her video, but as well as privately.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's much of a surprise to anyone that Blair's apology clearly meant nothing. She clearly, in my opinion, just posted that big, like, apology video or, like, her statement just to try and get people on her side again. And then when people saw through her bullshit, because while she was doing these apologies, she was also accusing more people of stuff that turned out to be lies, she then realized that the apology wasn't going to bring people back on her side, so she just took them back, because she never meant them in the first place, and now she's trying to harm people in the worst way possible.
To me, it feels like Blair is taking every course of action that she can to prevent this video from being produced, from legal threats to trying to take my home, which wouldn't be surprising, considering Blair's alleged white-collar crimes I intend to expose with evidence within my video.
Okay, so there's a bit of a teaser of what we could expect in Oz Media's video. I mean, yeah, clearly Blair doesn't want this video out, and she's just proven by doing all of this that Oz Media has a lot of dirt on her, right? And it just begs the question, how bad is this information that we aren't aware of yet? Because if she's willing to take someone's home so this information doesn't get released publicly, it must be awful.
As I briefly stated previously, Blair and I dated. We started when I was 20 and she was 28. And currently, I'm 23.
I mean, that is a big old age gap. Not specifically, like, the gap in the years, but more specifically, where you are as a 20-year-old and where you are as a 28-year-old. I mean, I already feel like a completely different person than when I was 20, and I'm not 28 yet, right? I'm 24. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to hear how Blair has the power to foreclose Oz Media's home, because with that age gap, she could obviously persuade Oz Media to make many different decisions that could give her a lot of power, just because she's older. Because with that age gap, she could potentially, like, manipulate Oz Media into making decisions that could give Blair a lot of power financially, because clearly somewhere along the line she has gained a lot of power.
My naivety caused me to believe her reassurances that I could handle all of the financial obligations being dropped onto my shoulders by someone more experienced in life than I was. Why these obligations were placed onto me? At the time, Blair had bad credit, so all of the purchases, loans, everything was being placed in my name.
Oh, that is not fucking good. Imagine just dropping a bunch of debt on someone, especially a 20-year-old, like, who has no idea how finances work. I mean, I'm 24, still don't really know. Like, for the majority of people, they would feel far too guilty to drop any bit of debt on someone, especially like a partner, and a young partner at that, right? A 20-year-old. But it seems like Blair does have a history of dropping a bunch of debt on a lot of people. I mean, with Wonderstruck and the car situation, just to name one.
The financial responsibilities that I incurred would stack up on me, building a mountain of monthly debt that would lead me into several financially tight months, and eventually just breaking. This would lead me to asking Blair, my partner, for financial help for things such as my home, which she was living in. Help from my partner, who at any given time would be making up to 30 times my monthly income. These amounts of assistance would be added to a ledger of debt. And I want to clarify again, Blair wasn't my bank. She wasn't my landlord. She was my partner at this time. This ledger also includes things such as a non-refundable design fee and land deposit on a multi-million-dollar custom home that she threatened to break up with me if I didn't agree to proceed on this with her, as well as other financial expenses that I honestly can't account for, nor even come close to this number when digging through my own finances.
Oh, so she did actually just manipulate him financially and get him to make a bunch of bad financial decisions just because they were together and she felt like she had the power to do so. Yeah, it really shouldn't be surprising at this point because we know what Blair's like, but it really is. Like, I just don't understand how a human can act like this and feel like they're in the right and then take legal action against these people. I don't understand it.
That number ballooned higher and higher, the number ever increasing, and I never questioned it out of guilt for needing help. Guilt from her telling everyone, from her friends to my friends, to her employees, to hell, even her Discord staff, about my finances, oftentimes unprompted. Guilt involving the fact that everyone I interacted with on a day-to-day basis looked down on me for her words towards me. My own partner, the person who was supposed to be my other half, was actively putting me in a position where she was chipping away at my mental health. I was afraid to tell anyone what was happening because she had convinced me that I was a parasite, that
Oh, bless him, man. How is Blair seeing all this stuff coming out, right? People's opinions and talking about their experience of Blair and not realizing what she's done throughout the years is being disgusting beyond belief. She should be doing everything in her power to try and make this right and realize what she's done is so wrong. But instead of doing that, she's completely doubled down and tried to ruin people's lives further. Like, I really don't get it.
Something to note, when you're around Blair, your world revolves around her. In my case, my home was hers, despite her name not being on it. I had no friends out in Colorado, a state that I moved to at the behest of Blair. Only Blair's friends were out here. All of my connections had to be approved by her. I wasn't allowed to be friends with people she didn't like, such as click in one topic, or even Wonder, once that bridge was burned and reduced to cinders. I was even in a position where my finances were nearly entirely controlled by her, from what debts I took on to later being the fact that she was the person who signed my paychecks. All while my world was painted to me in a light where I should be grateful for her generosity.
Yeah, just as he mentioned, like, she would make him believe that she was just being generous. That's how the whole situation with Wonderstruck sounded with the car. Like, she was trying to make it seem as if she was just helping him out, you know, and didn't just try and, like, ruin his life financially, which she did. Or at least make his life a lot harder financially, right? She tried to make it seem as if she was a really good person by doing this. Yeah, I don't get it. I would love to know if she is actually this delusional, like she's watching these videos and she is really just thinking, oh, I'm in the right here, I've done nothing wrong. Or she's just doubling down because she feels like that's the only thing she can do and she doesn't want to apologize. Like, I would love to know her honest thoughts, but I don't think we're ever going to get that.
When I was 23 and Blair was nearly 31, Blair, with her lawyer, would create an honestly quite confusing legal document for me to sign where I would agree to pay back her debt. Blair, being the person who signed my checks, knew that I couldn't afford legal representation. Blair also knew that the $2,500 that she was having me pay monthly towards that debt was almost as much as I was making monthly working for her. This would mean that I could barely pay for anything else in my life other than the debt that I owed her. Everything I made working for her was going right back into her pocket.
Man, she genuinely is evil. Like, that's the only word I can really come up with the more and more we hear about her. She was basically taking every penny he could make. Absolutely mental. And I guess it does make sense why she's so adamant in taking legal action, because she has a lot of money, I can only assume. She's been getting a lot of views for many, many years. So she probably feels like this will either be a bit of a cakewalk lawsuit because she can hire a bunch of attorneys and stuff, or she just feels like Oz Media wouldn't upload the video because he would be scared due to the financial ramifications. Now, luckily, because people can see right through Blair, Oz Media's got a lot of support. I mean, he has a GoFundMe here. What's it on? It's on $38,000. And actually, as I'm just scrolling down into the comment section to see what people are saying, people are donating a lot just on YouTube as well, so that $38,000 must be actually quite a lot more. And I mean, good, if anyone deserves it, it's clearly him. He's had to struggle financially for many, many years now because Blair just has no empathy, it seems. And because she's in a position of power, she will take full advantage of it, and even wants to take away his home. Like, I genuinely forgot that detail just then. She wants to take the home away from someone that she knows was struggling financially for a long period of time due to her. I don't get it. In fact, let me actually do... I don't actually really know how this donation thing works on YouTube, to be honest. Is it that? So yeah, that took a bit longer than usual because I don't really know how the donation thing works on YouTube. But yeah, if anyone else does feel like they can donate money and you can afford it, then this is definitely a person to help out because he's been through such a horrible situation. Yeah, I don't understand how Blair can really look at herself in the mirror and be happy with the fact that she's ruined so many people's lives, especially for so long. I will leave a link to this video in the description if you can donate. Obviously, please do. This is a person who definitely deserves it.
Blair would bring me to her lawyer's office, put me in a room alone with the two of them, with papers in front of me, Papers which I foolishly signed for a myriad of reasons, ranging from Blair expressing that this would mend our relationship, that it was the right thing for me to do, that this would also protect her legally and prevent her from getting into trouble with the IRS. She also would describe to me, and while I can't remember if this exact word was ever used, she essentially explained to me that because she used company funds to assist me, that she had committed embezzlement. And by converting the amount that I owed her into a loan with her company, this would save her skin legally. Now, to most people, that word may not have a lot of meaning, but to me, when I was 11, my mother was incarcerated for this exact crime, a remnant of the 2008 financial crisis. This taught me a very harsh lesson from an early age, but more importantly, Blair was aware of this past of mine.
Wow. I mean, yeah, I guess don't want to jump to conclusions or anything, but I really wouldn't be surprised if she did say that because she knew that Oz Media had been through this experience in the past with his mother. And if that is true, it is genuinely disgusting beyond belief, right? And I hope to God it's not true, but would you really be surprised at this point?
Blair used all of this, promises of reconciliation and other factors, which will soon be further elaborated on, as means to get me to sign a document known as a deed of trust. I wasn't aware of the power that this document held, what it does, what it allowed her to do. Again, I couldn't afford legal representation. She knew this. This document gave her the power to foreclose if I was unable to make a monthly payment of nearly $2,500 for nearly a decade. Blair knew that even with my income working for her, that this wasn't possible. So, it feels as though she knew that I would be destined to fall behind, that this outcome was inevitable. If the home is foreclosed, or if I decide to sell, Blair gets an immediate payout.
So she's willing to just ruin people's lives so she can get a decent payout. Is that what I'm hearing here? Putting him in a position that she knew that he couldn't really keep up with, $2,500 a month. He said that he wasn't even getting paid, or he was just about getting paid that much from Blair. So basically, all Oz Media could do was either give every penny he earned, or basically every penny he earned, to Blair each month, or he was going to get his home taken away from him. Disgusting.
If you're looking for an easy point of evidence, as you can see with Wonder, Blair has a habit of taking advantage of younger men, 8 years younger than her, and their financial illiteracy for her own personal gain.
I mean, that is the first thing I thought of when he mentioned the ages. It does seem like she's doing that on purpose, because she's had more life experience. If you were a 20-year-old and a 28-year-old gives you advice financially, there's a good chance you're probably going to listen to them, especially if it's someone close in your life. They've been an adult for a lot longer than you, they've had to deal with their finances for a lot longer than you, they should know more than you do about finances, so you are probably going to listen.
It's obvious to me that I need to focus on myself and not destroy my well-being for this video. This, of course, leads me to the GoFundMe. Not a penny of what has been raised will be used to repay Blair. I will be using the aid given for legal fees and only necessary expenses. The purpose is to aid me in potentially breaking out of what I can only call a manipulative situation with several lanes of legal red tape in front of me. This money will be used to secure a legal retainer and any legal cost, and once and only once the legal front is secured, will I use the funding to help with monthly finances related to securing my home. Finances which are not tied to Blair in any way.
I mean, yeah, there you go. If you were interested in knowing where the donations are going to go, there you have it. Like I said, I feel like he absolutely deserves it. He's been in a horrible situation. If you do have any money to spare, go for it, right? I mean, any little will help in a scenario like this. It all adds up. And due to people helping out, it means that Blair doesn't have as much control as she once did. And, I mean, that's a good thing, because all she's really known, it seems, is having control over people. I really don't get it. I mean, my expectations on Blair were already ridiculously low. They had hit as low as I thought they could go, but they somehow get lower. Every time I hear a new update with Blair, it's absolutely grim. I would love to know your opinions on everything we just spoke about in today's video. What's your reaction to this video? And, yeah, hopefully, as I've been saying in a few videos recently, hopefully justice is served, because I don't believe Blair should be able to get away with this forever, right? She's been doing it for years, and it's about time that she kind of gets a taste of her own medicine. I mean, she's gonna be fine financially. As you just mentioned, she's been earning 6 figures a month on her YouTube channels at some point. She's gonna be fine. All she's really trying to do is ruin one person's life, and if she loses the case, she'll probably be fine. So, I mean, yeah, I just don't understand why she would even feel like this would be a good idea, but apparently she does. And yeah, either way, I'm gonna leave the video there. If you did enjoy, please leave a like down below, subscribe if you are new. I'm gonna leave a link to Oz Media's video in the description down below if you do want to help out and support in any way. And yeah, until next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.